I asked you to choose my first job for the FM22 International Manager of Mystery, and the results are in. First up, tied with 28% each, the Minnow Nations of American Samoa and Djibouti. Up next with 30%. 30% off your purchase of FM23 at Fanatical using my code FM23DG. Referral link in the description. And with 45% of the vote, Singapore. Over 80 votes on the poll, by the way. Fantastic job, everyone. And thanks for picking me the job that's going to pay me 4.7k a week. Although I think in this part of the world, most of that's going to go on the rent. So we take over a team ranked 166th in the world and looking to go places. Iksam Fandi looks like someone we will be pinning our goal-scoring hopes on, but a look around the top players in the squad reveals quite a few reaching the end of their playing days, so we'll have to bring in some new blood. Our first game in charge against Lebanon in a friendly started brightly, with 2 early goals. But sadly, 2 late goals would deny us a win in our first game in charge. We did, however, set what must be a unique pairing of records, as that game saw Daniel Bennett become Singapore's oldest ever player, while in the same match Kamarudin, some 28 years Bennett's junior, set the record as the youngest ever player. A credible 1-1 draw with Qatar followed, and then our first win 1-0 over Chinese Taipei. More friendlies followed, including a big win over Maldives, but then back-to-back defeats. 1 year into the job and we were desperate for some competitive action. That would come as qualifying for World Cup 2026 kicked off. Bhutan would clearly be the weakest team in the group, though for some unknown reason we were scheduled to play them at our 50,000 capacity national stadium, while we would be playing the likes of China, Lebanon and Kuwait in the much more intimate Jalan Besar Stadium. Now China got to be favourites in that group, but we know we can beat Bhutan. I'm sure we can beat Lebanon, we nearly did it before. And Kuwait, maybe we can give them a run for their oil money. Tell me down in the comments how well you expect we'll do. And let's start with a look at how we did against Lebanon. Again, an early goal. Again, Iksan Fandi. But this time we held out for the win. A few days later we faced Bhutan and... I better quickly go and change shirts then. And while I'm quickly changing shirts, a big thank you to this month's Patreons. If you want to become a Patreon supporter, check out the link in the description. It's not a Singapore shirt, but it'll do. As for the game, a 2-1 win, and what a start to our qualifying campaign. Next up it was Kuwait, and the performance of the save so far. First Suzilman, and then Fandi struck to give us a 2-0 lead at half-time. Zulkifli had been involved in the 2 goals and turned scorer in the second half, with not 1, but 2 fine strikes. A late goal from Kuwait was nothing more than a consolation, as we secured an absolutely massive win. Early doors I know, but putting us top after 3 matches. The following month we would face China away, but you know, we want to keep these videos short and snappy, so we haven't got the time to pick through the result of every single game. So we'll just move on to the next one, which was Lebanon for the 3rd time in this episode. A tight match in Beirut was tied at 1-1 until 15 minutes from time, when we got a penalty after a handball, and Ramley converted for a massive win. Despite that defeat to China, the table was looking pretty good as we reached the end of 2023. However, with only 1 team guaranteed to go through to the final stage, we would need some big results in our final 3 games. And big was what we got against Bhutan, 6-1 in front of a near-capacity national stadium. Why can't we play here all the time? On then to our trip to Kuwait City for our penultimate game. And a dream start as Aidan Edwards struck from just outside the area to give us an early lead. The Kuwaitis got back into it quickly though, with this fine strike. Our fullback Abdullah took advantage as the Kuwaiti defence backed off way too much to let him score. But once again, our lead wouldn't last long as the Kuwaitis equalised in first half stoppage time, and 2-2 was how it finished. And sadly, Bhutan did not do us a much needed favour against China. I should have put the shirt back on for that one. And that meant going into the final game, we would need a win to top the group, or else we would have to hope we could get one of the best runner-up spots. And what a game this was. Not the best of starts as Wu Lei lasered his way through our defence. But then an extraordinary 15 minutes of play, as first Fandy grabbed a goal and then provided a sweet cross for Raheem to score before setting up our third of the night, a beauty of a strike from Akbar. Alas, we couldn't hold the 3-1 lead until half-time as China pulled one back going into the break, and then they inevitably seized back control of the game in the second half. First, Wu Lei struck before a mix-up between our goalkeeper Sonny and last man Fandy, not that one, let China sneak a 4-3 win, which left us second in the group with a credible 16 points. But would it be enough to take us into the final stage of Asian World Cup qualifying? Unfortunately not, and to make it worse, we were eliminated on goal difference, as Australia also finished on 16 points, but our leaky defence meant they had the better record. What a start, though, to our time in Singapore. And what's next? Well, that would be the first regional championship of this save, the AFF Suzuki Cup, which is coming up in our next episode, to be linked up here whenever it's out.